Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back with another Legacy League, and today we are playing blue-white Phyrexian Dreadnought Stiflenought. That's right. We're trying to put a powerful creature into play, Nulldrifter or Phyrexian Dreadnought, by not having its ETB trigger, which is usually a sacrifice trigger. The way we're doing that is with Doorkeeper Thrull, a powerful creature that was recently printed in the Murder at Karlov Manor, I think was the name of the set. But this is a very powerful way of stopping ETB triggers. It has flash. It's a 1/2, so it doesn't die to Bowmasters. It has flying. So this could like jump up there and block, for example, an attacking Bowmaster or something like that. It's pretty cool. And we also, of course, have Dress Down and we have Stifle. These are the traditional ways of stopping an ETB trigger. Let's talk about Nulldrifter. This card is quite powerful. So it is a 4/4 flying Annihilator 1. This is an Eldrazi after all. And it costs 7 mana, which we're probably not going to be hard casting this. We might be, but it's unlikely. What we're most likely doing is invoking it for 2 colorless and 1 blue, and then we're stifling the sacrifice trigger, or the trigger isn't even happening with Doorkeeper Thrull or Dress Down. Same thing with Phyrexian Dreadnought, 12/12 trample, 1 mana creature, 30 years old practically. Very, very powerful, and it's going to win us a lot of games, I think. This deck is very well positioned against aggro. It has 4 Stifle, 4 Daze, 4 Wasteland, so it's really leaning into the tempo shell, but at the same time, it's kind of a control deck. We do have a lot of basic lands. We do have a lot of color fixing. We barely have any white in the deck. If you look, there are really only 6 cards in the main deck that use white mana. And then we have Containment Priest, 2 Prismatic Endings, and a Lavinia that use white. So we don't really even need white that much. In fact, I'm almost tempted to just cut this, and I think this is what most people do, and just add another island. Because, if we ever get to the Tundra, we might need to get it, but we do have a Meticulous Archive here as well. So we have, essentially, in addition to this 1 basic plains, we also have 3 other white sources. So I think we're going to be fine. I don't think we're going to get wasted off white. And if we do, it'll suck. But these fetch lands fetch white, and we also have a Marshallets that can fetch white as well. So this is the deck. It's a very standard issue, almost 4 of everything type deck. We do have a single Brazen Borrower to bounce, and we are importantly running Tamiyo, which is not stock. Most of the lists I looked at are not playing Tamiyo. But other than that, our list is very similar to theirs. One departure is, I didn't get a Hull Breacher because it was like $13 on MTGO for some reason. And I just didn't want to spend all that money on it just for this league. But if I play this more, I'll definitely get one. I'm going to a weekly Legacy tournament tonight. And if my 4th Phyrexian Dreadnought arrives in the mail, I will be playing this tonight. And I will probably be playing Hull Breacher in place of the 4th, probably in place of the 3rd Consigned to Memory. I would probably do it here on MTGO in place of the Hydroblast, but Consigned to Memory is quite good, and there is a lot of Eldrazi running around. Speaking of Eldrazi and other problematic decks, one card I want to highlight is Grafdigger's Cage. This is very powerful against the all-in Nadu combo decks that are either Green Sun Zenithing or Court of Calling, to get their Nadu into play or to get other green creatures to enable Nadu. We're running 2 of these. This is also a really strong card against blue-black Reanimator and just black-red Reanimator, various Reanimator flavors, because it stops them from being able to reanimate cards, and we don't use our graveyard really at all. The only thing we can do with our graveyard is returning a sorcery or an instant from our graveyard with Tamiyo. That's it. So this doesn't have any negative impact on us. Also know that we're playing Harbinger of the Seas, so we can potentially color screw people in addition to wasting them and stifling them to make their lives miserable. So we should be inflicting a lot of misery, but quickly ending the misery, putting them out of their misery with Phyrexian Dreadnought. Let's jump to the league. As always, we're going to play a full 5 matches, and I hope you will comment with timestamps if you see me do any punts, if you see any lines that I could have pursued that would have been more fruitful. The reason I play is to get better. I'm not playing to win here. I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to get more exposure to different decks. I'm trying to get better at playing the decks that I'm playing. And if you have feedback, that would be incredibly valuable. I will never shoot the messenger. Just include a timestamp and any feedback you may have for what I could have done better. Thanks, and let's get to the leagues. All right, round 1 versus Ghash, likely an Eldrazi gamer. We're going to go ahead and, I think we keep this. This does have the combo, and it has some interaction. We're probably not going to be firing off Wasteland here, but I do think that we've got so many ways to get this Dreadnought into play, and it's going to be so strong against them. I'm going to keep this for sure. And they are just telling us what's what right off the bat with that Wasteland. Hopefully we draw a fetch. Or a basic. Either one is fine. All right. So I think what we do here is we can play this out and we can stifle it. I think that's what we do because we have plenty of stifles and I want to get Phyrexian Dreadnought into play next turn. If I play the waste, they might waste it, and who knows how long it'll be before we draw what we need. Eldrazi Temple. Grim Monolith. Okay. So this changes what they're likely on. They are likely... I haven't seen this. I'm not going to daze it. Okay. But I think they're not going to be able to use K command to exile our Dreadnought. So I'm going to just go for it. They might have that one creature that like bounces. That's definitely the scariest thing they could do here. Oh, wow. This is good. I think it's better to go ahead and get a land here, but we can't get a basic island. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and play this out because we could draw another Wasteland. I'm going to play this Dreadnought, and I'm just going to stifle the trigger. And we're going to see whether this game continues. We do have days up, so we're not completely naked, but there's a very good chance that they waste our land here. Ugin's Labyrinth. When Ugin's Labyrinth enters, you may exile a colorless card with mana 7 or greater from your hand. Okay, let's see what this does. They exiled Devourer of Destiny, which does kill target permanent when it comes in. Oh, they got the One Ring. This is bad, folks. This is really bad. So we can counter that. Let's see. How does this work? Tap, return exiled card to owner's hand. Okay. So this is exile target permanent with 1 or more colors. So they can't actually exile this. So I think what we do here is we let this resolve. And unless they have another Wasteland, then I'm going to start sweating. But I don't want to fire off a daze to pull the Tundra back to our hand at this point. All right, MTGO is spinning here. Hopefully it resolves. Okay, you get the trigger. I can't stop it. They're drawing. It's worth noting that I do have a stifle to stop the subsequent draw. They are wasting on my land. This might be Fleshraker. Fleshraker is a very scary card. If I waste this, then they don't get this back, which might be the play. But they don't actually have that much mana. This generates 2 whenever they tap. What? How can they do that? Exile target creature. Oh, no. It can be K commanded. I was thinking this, but no, they can stop this. And unfortunately, even though they tapped out all their mana, I don't have a daze up. So had I dazed here, they wouldn't be able to do this. It doesn't matter because we wouldn't have been able to do combat damage that turn cycle. Yeah. Okay. Well, that sucks. I didn't realize there was that weakness that we could have our Dreadnought exiled so easily. Okay. Well. This is a good card. So I think what we do here, we probably waste this. I don't see any reason not to waste this. So wait, this can be used for any purpose, right? Yeah. So I'm just gonna waste this now. Now we have the ability to stifle the draw trigger here. Okay, MTGO is taking forever. I just started it. I have a great connection. Fast.com. What is my internet connection right now? Is my internet connection bad? Okay. Maybe it is my connection. Okay, wow. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm going to fix my internet real quick. All right, we are back and we've got like practically gigabit internet. So sorry about that. That was really embarrassing. But yeah, my internet just stopped working inexplicably. So I'm going to relaunch and we're going to get into it. All right, the good news is my deck plays really fast. I am going to hit this just so they can't return it. It is additional card advantage. When they attempt to fetch here, I'm going to get my Tundra and I'm going to, or actually when they attempt to draw, I'm going to stifle it. And in doing so, I am putting myself in danger's way in terms of Wasteland. Sorry, these assets just aren't loading in yet. You can see they're trying to. Okay, another Ugin's Labyrinth. That's fine if they want to do something with it. What do they excel? Breaker of Creation. When you cast this spell, you gain 1 life for each colorless permanent you control, hexproof from each other color. Annihilator 2. Terrifying. But they don't have that much mana. They have basically 1, 2, 3, 4. And then they would have to untap this Grim Monolith. Okay, that resolves. All right, they didn't tap it, which I think they're just being smart and not tapping it because they're denying me the ability to fetch here because they know that I could potentially stifle it. That's a good pickup. I'm just going to play this out and I'm going to pass and I can go get Basic Island or Basic Plains so I can be a little bit more Wasteland proof. It's interesting. I have to stifle this. There's no way I can let this happen because 2 cards. Or I can wait for next turn. But this will slow them down. I think I do this and then they have to tap it again. Yeah, because I mean, like they tap it and the next turn it denies 3, but technically they're gonna have to go through the 2. Can't do anything. All right, now they have 6 mana, so they can put this back and cast it for 8. I'm not feeling good about this game. So we need another Phyrexian Dreadnought stat. Tamiyo is super weak. I think it's better to wait and dress down instep. They're going to draw so many cards here. And this is, I think, also a cast trigger. Yeah. They're untapping. I'm just going to concede. We're going to get that exiled and we need the time. They have 0 time pressure, but we lost like 7 or 8 minutes there when I had to restart my internet and restart MTGO. Okay. So in terms of Eldrazi, Consign to Memory definitely comes in. Lavinia is pretty good. She stops K command or really hinders K command. And by the way, I'm aware that K command is the traditional name of Kolgon's command. However, I am going to start calling that K command because it's just a lot shorter than Kozilek's command. Okay, and cards that can come out. I think Daze is pretty bad. I think it's bad in general, like against their deck. They just got so much mana. Like the odds of us actually catching them on something is pretty low. Prismatic Ending can take care of Chalice, which could be a problem. I didn't see anything else that would hit. It's not going to hit One Ring. I think we just have to hope that they don't have Chalice. Chalice does really screw with our deck, though. Look at all these 1-drops. I mean, it's like 27 1-drops. Is that correct? Yeah, that's a lot of 1-drops. Out of respect for Chalice, we could put a Prismatic Ending in. Prismatic Ending is not the absolute worst. Is there anything else we can cut? Yeah, I don't. Stifle is less good, certainly, against their deck because they're not fetching. So I think we could cut some of these. We did bring in the Consign to Memory, which, by the way, Consign to Memory will stop the trigger. And we can actually replicate it. So it's better, even against Chalice. We could still use it on like a Nulldrifter, for example. We'd have to have a ton of mana to be able to do that, by the way. We'd have to have 3 mana for the Evoke. Then we'd have to have 1 mana for the Consign and 1 mana for the Replicate. This hand is a keep. I think what we do is we open Island Tamiyo. And then we have Consign for later, but we can at least start stacking clues. There's no reason to proactively fetch blue here, or white. We can just fetch white when we need it. We have second Tamiyo that can pitch to force. They seem to be a very big, like kind of like a ramp Eldrazi deck. So that makes me think that we might actually be able to ultimate Tamiyo. We need a brainstorm to do that. This is a great pickup. I'm going to go ahead and attack. All right, and I'm going to pass. So we have Consign mana up, so we can potentially counter something and even replicate to stop the trigger if they have a cast trigger. I think this is fine. We let this happen. kind of a 2-for-1. Breaker Creation. We're definitely not going to be able to let that resolve. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get my planes here. And I'm going to correct the clue. Oh, wow. They have something to do in response. What is this? Chosen mode. Create a X1 and draw a card. So they're not targeting my creature. Okay, I'm going to let that resolve. Okay, they one top, one bottom there. Okay, we drew a Stifle. That's good. All right, Lavinia. Gosh, Lavinia seems really freaking good here. I'm going to attack first, just in case they have some shenanigans. I don't think they will. We'll get our clue. I'm going to play Lavinia out for sure. We do have force if they attempt to do... if they attempt to play something that costs a lot of mana. So they can essentially Kolaghan's Command for like practically nothing here. This could be a... Oh no. This is going to be a big thing, isn't it? A Nulldrifter. We don't have a way to stop Nulldrifter here. It's large and in charge. We do have plows in our deck that we might be able to draw to. So they get 2 cards. Yeah, that's really good. Okay, so I'm going to untap. They are essentially putting us in the abyss here. We could hit I. If we hit this, though, then that cuts them off that. What do we do here? I don't think we can attack in. We can stifle the Annihilator trigger. Even if we attack, we're not going to have enough mana to create the token. Yeah, I think what we do here is I'm just going to dress down when the Annihilator trigger goes on the stack. I am going to hit this. Just to get rid of that permanent. I mean, they have 7 cards in their hand. It's not that big of a deal, but yeah. And I will just dress down after they attack here to prevent the... Or I guess I do it at the beginning of combat. So I'm going to set a counter here. Set a stop here, rather. Okay, and now I'll just dress down. This draws us a card, and next turn we can flip Tamiyo. I don't think we block. Our best rip is definitely a plow here. Right? Our own Nulldrifter would also be good, but we need to draw a card first. Okay, so I'm going to start by attacking. I'm going to go ahead and attack with both of these. Okay. Now, I'll just brainstorm, and I'm going to hope to find a plow. We didn't find a plow. The ending isn't good. We can waste the eye, but we are in the abyss in terms of permanence. We can set clues. I will put back this because we're probably going to need it. Okay, flips. +1 here. She'll stay alive for a turn cycle and maybe distract them a little bit. I'm going to hit this. And I'm going to pass. You may be thinking, like, wouldn't it be wise to not wasteland them and to build up in case you draw Nulldrifter of your own? That's definitely an option. But the vibe I get, oh my gosh, they had a replacement eye. Well, I mean, they do have 7 cards in hand. So this is unfortunately going to trigger. I'm going to sacrifice a clue. They're attacking Tamiyo. I do think it's correct to sacrifice the clue here instead of sacrificing the Tamiyo. She's about to die anyway, though. Yeah, I'm going to sacrifice the clue. And I'll keep her alive. Just in case there's something I can do next turn. Well, we kind of know what we're drawing, but I can... Oh, they were attacking me. Okay, well, I'm glad I didn't sack her there. I should have been more observant. Okay, so... yeah, on the turn that we don't have Stifle available, they are doing this. This is a big creature. I think we do want to force this. Just because it's such a big creature and we already can't address the creature that's on the table. And I think I'm probably going to pitch Tamiyo to do this. Yeah, that sucks. Yep. All right, so this turn, we could dress down here. Our top card, I'm trying to remember what our top card is. It's something that we don't want, like a Prismatic Ending, I think. I was going to go ahead and attack. Doesn't hurt to attack. We're not going to be blocking. And then what I can do is I can do the dress down during begin combat again and just hopefully buy one turn. But they're going to hit me for 4 here. If they cast something before combat, which they have no reason to do that, then I can dress down. I do feel like dressing down is correct here, but I mean, they could just cast another powerful thing. I don't want to lose this clue. All right, and if there is a game 3, I'm not going to have a lot of clock because I've really dithered on figuring out what I want to do with this Nulldrifter. Okay. I'll just take it. Best draw is definitely a Phyrexian Dreadnought. Now we can't even counter their Eldrazi. They're going to exile a bunch of our land here. Yeah, I'm going to concede. There's no way we're coming back from this. I was choked on mana the entire time. And you could say that was my own making, but like I needed blue mana and I fetched this, which we never cast a single white spell. So it was probably a mistake to fetch this. We probably should have just fetched the second island. Anyway, that was just like getting completely owned. Let's see how we do in round 2. All right, we're up against Zachnod. I don't believe I've played against this person. They have like a Vulcan sounding name. Zachnod. They are likely on Beanstalk, which not a great matchup. Oh, this is like an old Beanstalk list. Okay. Yeah, who knows what they're on. They have historically played Tempo and Doomsday, so we'll see what they're on. But this is a pretty strong hand. We've got turn 1 Tamiyo. We can protect her. We have the ability to go get a white source for Plow. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to hope they're on Tempo because that would be really great for us. I feel like with this hand, this is a really good anti-tempo hand. All right, and I kind of don't want to put Tamiyo out there naked if they are on a Tempo deck. I think I'm going to ponder. We don't really need these. I mean, Dress Down is half the combo. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, we'll definitely need a brainstorm to both to protect Tamiyo and to put back some of these excess lands we've drawn. Okay, so I think they're probably on Beanstalk of some variety because they're playing a Triumph. I don't have a choice. I have to force this, and they may be able to daze back. You don't let this resolve. Yeah, and our opponent also knows its importance and his daze back. So this is just going to be in the game for the rest of the game. We're just going to have to win quickly before they can accumulate a lot of advantage. Not a land. Oh, gosh, we're just getting really bad rips. That sucks, but that's how it rolls. That's how the cookie crumbles. All right, we're probably not winning this one, but I'm going to keep playing and we'll learn a little more about their deck. All right, Strand and the Plow. Ponder. Yeah, at this point they can also... They have so many colors. This is 3 colors. They have every color except for black, so they could potentially get like a scrubland and then do a cantripping Leyline Binding on it too. I should have surveilled there. I do have a surveil land in my deck. I'm not going to surveil here. I'll wait. Oh, all right. What do we have here? Just the consequences of my own actions, as they say. All right, so I think they're probably going to take some action here to remove her. I think we're like less than 10% to win this. Yeah, there's the scrubland, like I predicted, and here comes... Oh, it's Plow. I can't do anything about it. It's miserable. And they've got 3 cards in their hand, but they've got all their colors, and they're going to have cantripping Leyline Binding soon. Loam. Yeah. Well, our Tempo plan is shut off, which is, 12 cards in our deck. Stop, and we are going to remember to surveil here. This will probably give away a lot of what our deck does here. So if I see something that really gives away, well, yeah. How many lands do you want us to draw, deck? Okay, we've got half the combo. I'm just going to play this out and pass. We can get Island if we need to. This is definitely a matchup where the Harbinger of the Seas is going to come in. All right, Archive. They kept. It's probably a Force of Will or something that will easily remove our Phyrexian Dreadnought. Okay, they're not taking any game action, and they don't need to. This is the only game piece they need. Nulldrifter. I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to go ahead and Nulldrifter. They're going to know what we're on. But if we can stifle this, it's good. Wow. Is that like the last? Oh, I can get a plains with the next one. Let's go ahead and do this. Nulldrifter. So now I can't dress down. I can only stifle to stop this. If they have Bowmasters, we'll know about it very soon. Okay, they're brainstorming in response. If they have stifle, they could be looking for a stifle here. All right. Getting our 2 cards, 2 lands. Yep, it's dead. Oh my goodness, this is miserable. I tell you what, I'm not going to subject you to this. I'm just going to concede. I don't think they're playing pretty quick. It's not going to come down to time. They now know that we are on Oops All Lands. Okay, so against Beanstalk, these prismatic endings are quite good because they can target both Beanstalk and Carpet. Harbinger is quite good. Lavinia is also quite good. What's not good, I think we do want to keep the plows. Brazen Borrower is something that can hit them at least. I think we do want to keep in days on the play. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to take out. Because we kind of need these to deal with Murktides. I mean, we could take them out and just try to assume that if they're Murktiding, we've already lost. They could have Psychic Frog. We didn't see Psychic Frog, but it could definitely be in there. That's a reason to keep some forces in, or some plows in. I'm going to take 2 of the plows out. I am keeping this. This can potentially interact, so I'm not being completely irresponsible, but I don't want to take our combo out. Also don't want to take these out because these bait removal. Nulldrifter is a good card against them. Yeah, it's tough. I think they're not going to come after our mana here. We could take one of these out, but we still need to cut. I think we probably cut a Tamiyo. Yeah, like these cards are worth it. They are very strong objectively. So I'm gonna do that. Like these are all incredibly strong bullets against them. So I think it's totally fine to take out a couple of plows for that. We'll see if they just have like a turbo Murktide hand. So this hand has dress down, double basic into dress down into Phyrexian Dreadnought. I am keeping this, snap keeping. And what we'll hope to do is refill with Nulldrifter if they're able to stop our Dreadnought. But even if they stop our Dreadnought, we do have a lot of action. And this might be one of the rare times that we just ignore a Beanstalk if they have it. I don't know. But I kind of want to like save a force effect for the Dreadnought because Dreadnought will end it really quickly. And they may not have time to assemble the right amount of domain to be able to exile Dreadnought. Well, this is 3 colors. I mean, they're already pretty close to domain. That's good. I'm going to go ahead and play this out first, just in case they waste. And then we're going to instep dress down. If we instep dress down, we could actually Nulldrifter instead of Phyrexian Dreadnought. We can't do both, though. I think instep Nulldrifter is actually stronger because we get the cards, and if they are smart and they have the means, they should force this. All right, we're in. Now they could definitely, bounce it, or because they can. If they can't fetch a single, there's not a single land. I guess Scrubland. They fetch Scrubland. They have everything they need. Okay, I feel much better now that we have a stifle here about potentially throwing Nulldrifter in there first because they could potentially bounce this or exile this. All right, let's do it. So I kind of like holding this just for the brainstorm shuffle. Yep, let's see if they can interact with this. So we get the 2 cards unless they stifle. Oh, what good cards they are too. My goodness, I feel very favored now. And we have Doorkeeper Thrull into Phyrexian Dreadnought. I'm beginning to see why people play blue-white version instead of the blue-black version. Because Doorkeeper Thrull is like a permanent kind of like means to get your Dreadnoughts into play. Okay, so they're casting a Leyline Binding. If I force this, I keep my Nulldrifter alive. I think I do want to do that. So let's pitch the Stifle. I think is probably the weakest card here. Yeah, I'm going to pitch the Stifle because Doorkeeper Thrull will allow us to do a lot of stuff here. If they force, I'll force again. All right, we are going to go down a little bit in cards here. This is dead. They have to find a plow or they're going to start losing permanents. Next turn, we can not only Doorkeeper Thrull, but we can also Dreadnought. Okay, I'm going to play out land first. I'm going to go to attack. They are going to be heavily incentivized to, well, the triggers on the stack. I think that is game for us, most likely. They could have... Do we want to put the Dreadnought into play? I think it's a fair question because if we put the Dreadnought into play, that's like 3 permanents that have to be committed. We can end step Doorkeeper Thrull. I think we play out the Tamiyo, and then we can still end step Doorkeeper Thrull. The problem though is if they just rip a Terminus, and I suspect they probably are playing Terminus in their deck. Okay, we won. So yeah, I realize that people might be in the comments, just jam these. Why not ensure that next turn is the end of the game? I am just thinking in terms of Terminus though. I think it's probably just a one outer, maybe 2 outer. If you think that I misplayed there and that I should have gone ahead and put these into play, please leave a comment with the timestamp. Let's go to game 3. On the draw, I think Daze's value goes down quite a bit. I want to take that out. They now know unambiguously. Well, actually, they still haven't seen Dreadnought. I like Tamiyo because we're likely to play a longer game. And, I mean, if we're playing a longer game, we didn't show them Daze, but they should probably presume that we have Daze in our deck. I feel like, even though we haven't seen Frog, it's got to be in there, right? I mean, they could be playing Frogless. Okay, we'll put one of these Dazes back in. I don't think we're going to need the lands. I haven't seen any reason to suggest they're coming after our lands. All right, I'm submitting. Yeah, I mean, Plow is just too powerful of a card. It's too flexible of a card to pass up. There will be something in their deck to Plow. This is a keep. I mean, on the basis of the Force of Will. That's very good anti-Beanstalk technology. I think what we do is if they don't crack their fetch, we're definitely going to keep Plow up or keep Stifle up. Stifle's also good against should they attempt to waste us. Okay, this could be Carpet. Okay, that's fine. We can't punish that. I think next turn they're almost certainly going to want to play a land and progress their game plan rather than wasting us. So I am going to go ahead and play Tamiyo now, and I'm going to risk them wasting me. If you think this is a huge mistake, please leave a comment. And don't worry, we'll probably see momentarily if this is a huge mistake. But I want to get her online, and then I can ponder for land next turn. Okay. I wouldn't be surprised if they took out Wastelands or if they took out Loam. I don't know if they would take out Loam, but my deck doesn't seem very wasteful. I think I played a ton of basic lands last game. It's fine. So they're pondering. They shuffle and draw. I think there's a possibility they're low on land. They did mulligan. Right. I'm gonna attack and then I'm gonna brainstorm because they may have trouble dealing with a flip Tamiyo. I know right now, unless they have Snuff Out, that this is safe to do. Okay. So Prismatic Ending is a sidebar card that we boarded in. I think we do want to deny their mana. I think it's going to be really strong. We've got double Stifle. And we've got a Wasteland here. At the same time, I do want lands number 2 and potentially number 3. I think land number 2 is much more important. So what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to put one of these back. I'll put this back. And I'll put... We are going to have to shuffle these away. I think at this point, it might be Dress Down. Dress Down is good to enable, but it doesn't actually help us when we have double Stifle. Yeah, and I think double Stifle is going to be more powerful as an offensive tool than as a defensive tool. A plus, I'm going to play with this land, and I'm going to pass. And we are definitely stifling Lorien Revealeds. We're stifling anything we can, mana base-wise. It's fine. They may be looking for a prismatic ending if they have it. Oh, they just scooped? Wow. Okay. So they didn't find land. They probably got waste-locked, and we would have just taken them to the cleaners in terms of, wasteland and everything. Let's go to game 3. So we're 1-1, or match 3. These are going quick, and it's refreshing that they go quick because I think, when you're trying to win through attacking with Frog for 1 every turn and you're trying to win through Tamiyo, the black-white version, or the black-blue version is definitely slower than this version. This version is much more turbo dedicated. Okay, Akira Sakura, whom we've played against before. Let's see what they're on. I can't remember. All right, lands. Okay, lands is not a terrible matchup, and I think lands is probably a really good matchup because we have basic lands, we have dress downs, we have plow. Yeah, and this is a great hand. This Doorkeeper Thrull into double Phyrexian Dreadnought. They could definitely have Maze of Ith, but they're going to have 2 Mazes of Ith. Exploration. Saga. All right. So again, I don't fear Saga with 4 main deck dress downs, but it can still get the better of us if we're not careful. All right, so I think I'm thinking Island, Tamiyo. We keep up the ability to get a Plains next turn if we want. If they have Ghost Quarter, we have 3 islands in our deck, so we're really well equipped for this matchup. I wouldn't be surprised if we were 70-30 favored here. One thing that lands can sometimes do is just really quickly get a quick kill, so we want to make sure we don't die to that. Oh, wow, Wasteland. Okay, so I think they're probably just going to create a construct here. Okay, so we could flipper. Their Saga tokens are going to be pretty small here. If we don't flip her, I want to put back this Daze. This Daze is going to be terrible. I'm going to attack first and see what they do. I think they're not going to do anything. Okay, now what we can do is we can brainstorm. I'm going to put away the Daze for sure. I might put away... Ooh, these are so good. These are so good. All right, let's put this back. Let's put back Doorkeeper Thrull. I don't think it's that necessary now that we have double dress down. There probably will be a situation where we can put dress down into play. I'm keeping this land just, even though they've got a wasteland. I mean, you could definitely argue that I should have kept Doorkeeper Thrull over this, but I think it's fine. So they're going to create a dude here, a construct. All right, it's a 1/1. They're going to need to do a lot to get this big enough to kill Tamiyo. Okay, that's the first one. They could be going to get a Pithy Needle, so I'm going to go ahead and fetch, and I'll get a Plains here. They'll probably get Lava Spur Boots. Pithy Needle, okay. They might Needle Tamiyo, which is totally fine with me. Yep. And now I'm not going to be inclined to attack Loam to get it back. Yep, we can't do anything about that. If they attack Tamiyo, I'm just going to let it happen. If we can hold off a turn on the dress down, we can get 3 tokens instead of just 2. But I think next turn, they have 2 cards in hand. Yeah, this is fine. Are they just attacking me? I guess I can mouse over to see. Yeah, they attacked Tamiyo. That's fine. All right. I'm going to untap, draw here. So I think here are the options. 1, we just go ahead and deploy one of these and wipe their constructs. They're going to be really far behind. Yeah, I think that's fine. If they have a card to search, they'll probably search their library. I think, yeah, I'm going to keep plow up just in case we need plow. No, it doesn't matter. I'm going to have to use all my mana here. So I'm going to go ahead and draw. This should resolve. Okay, constructs are dead. I'm trying to think. They could potentially hit this with Boseiju. And the other thing they could do is potentially get a, if they have a way to search. Next turn they will have a way to search, and they can search for, okay, this is, yeah, that's potentially death for me here. I can hit the search trigger and stop them from being able to get what they want to get here. Okay, so we attack in, they make it. we plow it. The damage goes through. And then we have a stifle for the search trigger. I like it. I think they're not going to make it. Okay, that's fine. So we get 12. That's a big chunk of life, but they're about to make their creature. Yeah, there's not really anything else we can do. We have Days Up. They're going to make a construct. Or they're going to make the Dark Depths. They probably should make Dark Depths here. I'm not sure why they would wait. They might have... this is usually a Depths card, but they might have the crop rotation thing. I'm going to go ahead and plow now. And they're going to be gaining a lot of life each turn because they can just repeat this by dredging and redoing it. Okay. Oh, they actually milled their map. That's great for us because they can't go get map now. That's what I was going to stifle them getting. I think now I just hold my stifle. This will probably be a Mox. Maybe a Lava Spur or a Shadow Spear. Yeah. So they're going to attempt to put another big creature into play. They can't do it this turn. Oh, they got a Vexing Bubble. Yeah, that's a good card. Okay, Thespian Stage. So next turn they can do it. Sphere of Resistance. Sadly, there's nothing I can do about this. Yeah, that's a good card. It's going to make those constructs bigger. I really need to get another land now, preferably a basic land or a fetch. That would be the best draw here. I'm going to attack. Yeah, I can't do anything here, unfortunately. I can stifle something next turn. They're going to be able to loam it back. Man, we might lose this. It's crazy that we'd lose when we had such a strong hand and it's such a favored matchup. But if they can just depths every other turn and create a bunch of constructs, there's not a lot I can do about that. I'll crack a clue in step. All right. Ponder is going to take all of our mana to use. Okay, this is the draw right here. All right, so what we can do now, if we attack, they can make it. We don't have recourse. Let's think about this. Okay, I'm just thinking very hard right now. So we have the option of dress downing. That's the only thing we can do if we do something this turn. We might want to wait for that. Dress down can also remove the tokens from play. Like it can remove this token. It can take away the flying and the indestructible. If I attack in, they can just make it, and then my creature dies, and there's no recourse. I think we have to wait. If they go get Lava Spur Boots and they attempt to equip Lava Spur Boots, then I can dress down after Lava Spur Boots have been equipped and remove its haste. But I think most likely it is going to... They are making it here. I can't do anything now. I'm just going to wait. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely dead. I'm just thinking about, like, what can we potentially draw here? Like, obviously, Brazen Borrower would be great, but it's only going to save us for one turn cycle. I don't think they have a second Pithing Needle in their deck. I am going to go ahead and fetch just in case they do have a second Pithing Needle, because that'd be an embarrassing way to lose. All right, so let's see what they fetch. Soul Guide Lantern is fine. It has no impact at all on our deck. Loaming a whole bunch of good stuff back. Literally the only thing we can do here to survive is to go ahead and do this. Dress down. We draw a card. It's a Daze that we can't cast because of Vexing Bubble. This dies. Sad to see a Dreadnought die in combat. Another Sphere. I'm going to concede. Like, there's no path to victory here. Because we'd have to have a land and a Brazen Borrower to be able to get that out of play, which is not going to happen. We can't draw two cards. Okay, well, that felt like an incredibly strong hand, but it just, yeah, they had an even stronger hand. All right, Force Negation is very good against Life and Loam. Prismatic Ending is great against them. I don't think any of these other cards are particularly good. Cards that we can take out. Stifle's actually pretty weak against them. They do play some fetches. Okay, I'm going to take out all the Dazes. think Days, they're probably going to be playing around it anyway. And it's just, Days against the land deck is not good. And most of their cards, like, they're not spells that you want to counter. I could see us taking out... Doorkeeper Thrull doesn't positively impact anything on their side of the table. And it is something that potentially dies to... it is something that potentially dies if they get Tabernacle out. Maybe that's wrong. But my thinking is this is super duper weak. Also, they have a ton of permanents. It might be wrong. It might be right to take out Nulldrifter. Because I just don't imagine them ever really caring about the Annihilator, and the clock is slower. So I think what I could do is I could take one of these out and put this back in. That's the way I'm thinking. Yeah, let's try that. Oh, Plow is really bad against them. Actually, I should have taken out Plow. Let me see if I can do that. It's not letting me do it. It's already loading. But I should have taken out Plow there. That was a mistake. This is the combo. I think we keep and we just open Tamiyo like we did last time. And then we will attempt... So I'll open Basic Island Tamiyo. Next turn, I'll play out the Wasteland. And assuming they don't do anything, we can dress down and we can potentially put two of them into play. Two is a lot harder to deal with than just one. That's like double Maze With. That's double... actually, I don't know what they would use to remove it. They might be playing Swords to Plowshares. Some of these land decks do play Swords to Plowshares. I don't think I saw a White Source last game. Maybe I could be misremembering. I don't recall seeing a White Source. Okay, Mox Diamond. So that obviously is a White Source. If they just open Loam, that's catastrophic. Oh, okay, yeah, Boseiju. If they have a Loam here, we're pretty cooked. Okay, Port. Do they have Loam? Wasteland. Oh, because they got Wastelock now. Joke. Ouchie. Okay, well, that happens. We have one non-island in our entire deck. I didn't even think about Choke coming in. I should have. The fact that they have a Wasteland, though, this really sucks for us because they can waste our waste. I'm going to go ahead and attack. Yeah, we drew the force immediately after they choke, of course. They went all in on this choke, too. Well, they don't seem to have Wasteland Recursion. Maybe they don't go after this. But we do need to get through their Wasteland sooner or later. If we wait a turn, then we play the Wasteland, then we have the option of... Okay, we could just rip a blue source, and then we could potentially dress down, and then we could use the Wasteland. I don't think that's going to be good, though. Our only out to choke... We don't have three different colors for Prismatic Ending. Our only out to choke is Brazen Borrower, which will use our blue, and it's just going to be an in-step thing. So this Wasteland is absolutely critical here in terms of denying us the ability to do stuff. I think I'm going to wait, and that way at least my Wasteland can potentially, when they waste, which they will eventually waste, we can waste back and hit something. Okay, second Wasteland. All right. Fantastic. That fantastic was sarcasm. Okay. Whoa. Talk about a good draw. All right, so I think we go and play this out, and now I'm going to attack. The scariest thing they could do is drop a Ghost Quarter, or, a Life of the Loam would be bad too. This could be a Ghost Quarter that they're going to get. I'm going to go ahead and counter this. This is one of the best uses of your Force of Will in this matchup, by the way, is crop rotation. That's fine. As long as you don't find a Life of the Loam, that's no problem at all. So I'm going to go ahead and Wasteland. I think I go ahead and play out Wasteland now. And then they're likely to Wasteland, and then I can just crack a clue. We are going to need a draw to basically one-time use. Source of blue. I'm going to go ahead and use this and clue. They're probably going to... Whoa, path? Sure. I'm totally about that. Yeah. Path it. I will happily get this. Oh, it comes in play tapped. No! I didn't realize it came into play tapped. I thought it was like the other card. What's the other card that doesn't come into play tapped? Just like trophy? Like, yeah. Okay, so we have options. One option... I think the option is we wait, and then next turn we can definitely deploy 2 Phyrexian Dreadnoughts under Dress Down. And I will be so excited if we can somehow win this. I don't think we're going to, but I'm going to try. All right, wasting us. I'm just going to go ahead and... Should I draw a clue? I think it makes sense to clue here. Okay, another card that we can't really use. Do they have it? Amaze with. Okay, well, that's not good news. All right, so we're going to wait one more turn. Oh, actually, I have a Wasteland, so I can potentially deal with this. Okay. All right. We just need to fade them having one of the many cards that they could potentially have here. I think I'm going to play this out. Now we can potentially instep Doorkeeper Thrull if they're Hellbent. They've already used Path, so I presume they also have Plows. So that is an active concern of mine, is that what if they have Plow for Doorkeeper Thrull? But now I don't need to worry about that. All right, and we'll just save the white source, or save the blue source for Dress Down later. And I think we're going to win, unless something crazy happens here. So winning under choke, turn 1 choke, definitely a good feel. All right, so I'm going to untap, draw. I'm just going to go ahead and unload these while we can. And I'll just wait. If they have Tabernacle, that could be bad, but that's like the only thing they could have here. Maybe it's not the only thing, but that's definitely the most powerful thing they could have here. They might be able to... I'm trying to think of what they could get. Oh, so they're pretty deterministically dead. Yeah, because we're going to do at least 24. Yeah, so I can just waste and then attack. They may realize that. They may just see me having the line and just see whether I actually know to execute the line. But yeah, I ain't no dum-dum. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and do this now before combat. If they create, it's going to be a 3/3 and it'll absorb 3 damage. So we'll still kill them for Xaxes because we're hitting for 25. This can only, yeah. Okay, cool. That was a good game. I feel very good having managed to survive that one. Okay, so Plow is coming out. I think that's what we established. Plow's terrible here. If they have the actual thing, that's really bad. Actually, we want to keep a couple of these in. I mean, interestingly, we can kind of reset. I mean, that makes me want to have Nulldrifter even less because our mana is going to be so constricted. Yeah, I think we take out Nulldrifter. Yeah, I think we bring these back in. Just, I feel so bad. But the other alternative, of course, is we bring in Lavinia, but they don't have any. It's really bad. Like, it stops their Moxes, late game Moxes, which they can just fetch out of their library anyway. I think we're better off having a Daze in here than having a third Plow. I don't know. Actually, Daisy is really bad against it. I'm going to bring in a Plow. All right. And now Choke is on our radar. But now we have to win on the draw. Hopefully they don't turn 1 choke us again. We have like 11 minutes. I'm not worried about time. You do sometimes have to worry about time in this matchup. This is a hand that has potential for turn 2 Dreadnought. I like the Force. It's fine. Okay, they wouldn't pitch that unless I think they had Loam. I'm going to counter this. We can't beat this, I don't think. I'll pitch a Stifle. Dress Down's so good if we draw mana. All right. Land would be great here. We'll just chill and wait for a land. So we can probably Doorkeeper Thrull, and then we'll save the Dress Down in case they do create a bunch of constructs. They can create constructs, but instead they're choking, which is totally fine. I can't do anything about this. I'm just going to chill. We're going to need to get a lot of lands out of our deck, starting with that basic Plains. That's not very good. It's a turn too late. Yeah, I think we just have to wait. We'll see if we draw lands. I mean, we have 19 lands in our deck. I didn't take any lands out. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and fetch here, and I'm going to get an island just because I can't countenance them potentially. And they do have Rishodon Port. I think I saw a Rishodon Port previously. Oh, wow. What is this? Oh yeah, Rishinum Fort, of course. All right. I think this is over. We need to draw like several consecutive wastelands / plains. Yeah, they just tempoed us really. Yeah, I'm going to concede. There's no coming back from this because they're going to be able to do so much, and they've already got their constructs online. But for fun, we can see how many more cards we would have had to draw before we got to our lands. There's Wasteland, Borrower. But yeah, as you can see, like the odds of us drawing a series of cards that actually results in us being able to cast something was extremely low because this Richardon Port's like a reusable Wasteland against our deck. So yeah, that was a beating. But I don't think that's a bad matchup. I think it just came down that way. Maybe, no, I think my keep was good. I do think, what did I force there? I forced something game 3, and then they were just able to untap and hit me with the, oh yeah, I forced a sphere. So if I didn't force the sphere, I wouldn't have been able to, well, I could have like held up a land and forced it. You have to force the sphere, folks. I don't think I misplayed there. But please, leave a comment if you think I could have played that one tighter. I think game 3 was pretty much set in stone though, from the sequence of cards. I do think we had a very strong keep. But game 1, I definitely think I might have screwed something up. Okay, our opponent has a Delver finish a few months ago. This is not a keepable hand in my opinion. I'm going to mulligan it. This is also not a super keepable hand, but I think it's better than the hand that we just looked at. If they are on Delver, we're probably not going to wasteland them, but we do have this kind of like tempo plan here. I mean, we could just play on one island for a while if they are on Delver. I'm going to speculate that they're on Delver. I'm going to keep only one land. Okay, they are on Eldrazi, so I was wrong, and I'm about to die. If it heralds the end, that's fine. It does make a lot of their cards cheaper. Wow. I'm glad we drew that land. I think we do want to start wasting. Unfortunately, the Stifle, like I often am like, oh, we'll play out a Stifle and then we'll do. But if you can hit enough of their soul lands, you might be able to get enough time to get an attack in. All right, so I'm going to take 2 here, and they've got a lot of mana. They could play Glaring Fleshraker here. Eldrazi Repurposer. Okay, so our tempo plan is not going to work here. They've got a ton of creatures, and these are 1/2s, so they can attack. They've got immediately a whole lot of attack power. Being on the draw against Eldrazi when they have like a pretty explosive start, and I'm aware that they're all explosive starts with Eldrazi. I think we can Island Ponder, and unless we see something remarkable, I mean, I want to keep this, but I don't think it works. I think we need to dig for a Dreadnought. Dreadnought can potentially save us. This is not a bad play for next turn. It's turn 3. We've wasted the land of their opponent. They have 7 power on the table. Okay, the good news is we're only taking 7 here. That is very good news. Oh, wow. Yeah, and they don't have a follow-up play either. So if we draw a Dreadnought, we can still win. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. This is a dies trigger. This, the fact that they played out waste, we're about to take a ton of damage. I need to fetch white source and plow something here because we can't just take another 7. It'll restrict our options too much. I think hitting this makes sense. If we're going to hit this, we might want to hit this now because they could sack, do a lot of stuff. I do want to plow this because when it dies, it creates another token. I'm not sure what's correct to plow here, but I am going to plow. I think we plow this. And I am going to go ahead and plow now. Just because I don't want them to sneak out, like sneak something by before I am able to remove that bonus mana value. Another safe thing to do in case they do have a wasteland would be to wait until their turn and before they go to combat. But again, if they have like, okay, I'm going to force a K command for sure. Actually, I'm going to daze it if they go all in. I'll daze this back to my hand. I didn't want this to be exposed to wasteland anyway. All right. Do they have a green one? Yeah, no Elvish Spirit Guide. That's good. So we're just going to take 3, but I mean, 3 is a lot. If they don't play a land, I'll probably play a wasteland. Yeah, they have a land. Okay, we'll take our 3. We're still drawing to Phyrexian Dreadnought. I'm going to start by pondering and see if I can find the Dreadnought. This plow does cleanly answer this. They're low in cards. I think it's fine to just plow them here, but then we don't have a shuffle. What are we doing? We're just standing around. I don't think we can afford to be that passive. Oh, yeah. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I am going to waste the temple. And then they're going to be able to crack in, but next turn we're going to have a giant monster. And we're going to also have force to protect it. Unless, of course, we have to force something now. Blast Zone, actually, damn it, I didn't think about this, but Blast Zone can just blow up our Dreadnought, can it? Let's see, all permanents. This is just like such a random land to like completely ruin our plan. Oh, we can stifle it though, but we can't stifle, we need another land. Okay, Doorkeeper Thrull is good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end step Doorkeeper Thrull, and then I can play Dreadnought, and I can also stifle this if I have a land. That's a big if. You can only take one more hit. And we're going to need to hit very aggressively with Doorkeeper Thrull. Also, we can't force anymore. They are wasting us. So the options, of course, this, they have to pay 4, 3x. They might not have it. Okay, so here's what I want to do. I'm just going to let this happen because we do need to put Phyrexian Dreadnought. We can't wait around. We could stifle, and then we could put this into play. The outcome is kind of the same. They would have to have another 2 mana, so they'd have to draw a soul land. Yeah, I think I want to do this because just the upside of having the land is better than having a Doorkeeper Thrull in play. I'm not going to be able to force anyway. Oh, that's pretty good. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to go ahead and do the combo. And if they blast zone, they blast zone. There's nothing I can do about it. All right. They can't attack in anymore. When this dies, it will create a token that they can potentially use for that. If they have a soul land, none of this matters. Lotus Petal. All right, so I'm going to plow this so they don't get the token, and I'm going to hope to attack. I'm going to need to attack several times, though. Okay, so the other option. Okay, so 3. Okay, 3 sacrifice, destroy each non-land permanent with a mana value. Okay. I am going to plow here. I'm going to deny them the ability to create a token, and then I'm just going to hope that they don't draw any sort of mana source over the next 2 turns. That's really all I can do. This is a really interesting game. The fact that these forces are completely dead. The other thing, of course, I could have just plowed this to gain a bunch of life. I don't think that's correct. Do they have a mana source? Or anything that can do damage to me, I guess. Works. Once upon a time, all right. They're going to be able to find a mana source. But it'll need to be a soul land to use the blast zone. Ancient Tomb. Okay, that'll do it next turn. So we need a wasteland or we're dead. Oh, actually, they can't tap Ancient Tomb because they're going to go to 1. Haha. I think they realize they can't tap it. And oh, no, they're not conceding. They're taking it. There's no point in playing this out. I'm just going to keep Doorkeeper Thrull. And then if they blow this up, I can, flash in Doorkeeper Thrull and get the last damage. You can't get damage with Dress Down. That's one advantage of Doorkeeper Thrull. Wow, this game was so incredibly close. My goodness, what a great game. I can't believe we came back from that. You got to believe in the Dreadnought, though. Dreadnought is so strong against aggro decks, and I think we just saw why. Okay, so Consignment's coming in. I think we established that Chalice is such a beating that we need to bring this in. It does hit the Harbinger of the End, and then we've got our own Harbinger of the Seas, our Harbinger. Lavinia doesn't do a lot. It slows down K-Command. I think it's probably the only card in their deck that is going to matter here. Nulldrifter is hard to cast when our mana sources are under attack. Daze is terrible. Daze is so terrible that I'm thinking about taking all the dazes out. I mean, on the draw, I think we take them all out. No questions asked. I'm just trying to decide whether we can bring in these Nulldrifters. I don't think we can. I think it's just too slow against their aggressive land destruction deck. So really the only way we have to win is through either getting a Harbinger of the Seas to stay on the table or getting a... and we've established they can exile this. The depending on whether they're playing the Harbinger or the whatever it's called, not the Endbringer. Gosh, so many ends. Devourer of Destiny, I think is the name of the card. Yeah, that can exile it. So, Borrower is terrible. I think we take out Borrower and we bring in Nulldrifter, but Borrower can stop temporarily. Yeah, I'll bring in one Nulldrifter. I'm going to try this. We are so one drop heavy that like it might just be lights out if they just turn one Chalice us. This is definitely the most one drop heavy deck I've ever played. So this has Consign, it has a basic, it has a Wasteland, it has a Plow. It doesn't have a Dreadnought, but we're only 40% to draw a Dreadnought anyway. I think we keep this. They're mulliganing. To be up a game against Eldrazi is a weird feeling. I have beaten Eldrazi a lot, but it's just not recently. The deck is really optimized, in my opinion. Like, maybe it's not optimized where they figured out exactly which cards to put in, but it feels... it's just a crushing, oppressive deck to play against. I'll say that. All right. Yeah, I think we just island. If they try to exile our land, I can consign the exile trigger with Sowing Mecha Spawn. Ayavugan is going to eat a waste here. Glaring Fleshraker. Do we let this resolve? We can't immediately remove it. I think we do consign this. If we had a little more mana, we could... Well, we wouldn't be able to... But they have one floating, so they might have a second one. If they have a second one, I'm plowing it instead of wasting. Yep. You can't leave these on the table. Do they have anything? Oh, they've got colorless spells, of course. Now, Endbringer, or Harbinger of the End, I think is the name of the card, the 2/2. If they play that, these become 1/2s. My goodness, they have even more stuff. No. Okay, and now we're going to take like a gazillion from this Fleshraker. So I'm glad I countered the first Fleshraker. Whenever cast. Yeah, so they would have gotten an extra token had I not countered the first one. But it's just ridiculous like how much mana value they've gotten here. They've gotten like 3, 6, 9 mana value off of a single Eldrazi temple here. And now they're going to do even more damage to me. This is just insane. This deck is insane. I mean, I'm not saying that it's like banned here, but like this is by far the most oppressive aggro deck I've ever played against in my entire life. This particular configuration. Okay. All right. So, options. We get rid of Glaring Fleshraker. There's no other option. That must be done. And I'm going to do it now. Sorcery speed. I would love to waste that, but we just don't have the luxury. Now, if they have some giant fatty, they can still totally cast it because they've got 1, 2. Yeah, this might be the fatty. We'll see. Thoughtless here. There's no reason not to just stifle the trigger. We have a backup stifle. Yeah, I'm going to let it resolve, and then I'm going to stifle the trigger. They're out of... Wait, they have another card in hand, don't they? So, yeah. Oh, it's a Wasteland. Okay. So that sets us back. They can hit for 3. But the fact that they have so much mana, if they draw like a K command, it's going to... I'm just glad we stopped the Fleshrakers are so brutal. Okay. Now we're at the point of the game where I genuinely think it's better to play spells than it is for us to try to disrupt their mana. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this island out, and now I have, I'm going to dress down Instep, and I'm going to brainstorm, and I'm going to hope to find a Phyrexian Dreadnought. So I'll play this out, I'll get a card, then we'll go to the main phase, and then I can draw, and I can, brainstorm might be able to find it. But if they put some dangerous trigger on the stack, I will probably just stifle it. So I'm taking 7, dropping to 8, or dropping to 6. That's how math works. And we're pretty dead on board. Like, even if we get, okay, that's good. That's just like a dead card basically. So let's dress down instep. All right, stifle's not good. All right, let's see what we draw naturally. Tamiyo is not terrible. So we do have an option here, which is deploy Tamiyo, and then we can brainstorm and we can debuff these, which will keep us alive for a turn. They'll probably just attack Tamiyo. I think that's playing not to lose, playing to not lose. The play to win play is brainstorm into double Phyrexian Dreadnought. Yeah, I think this is our moment here. We've got a land drop to give. We could find a plow as well. I think Tamiyo is force fodder here. Force food. Okay, we didn't get there. We're not deterministically dead though. We do have one more draw. So I'll put these back. Now I'm going to try again. Phyrexian Dreadnought. Didn't work. All right, I'm going to concede. We're on the play this time. Days would have carried some water there. I'm thinking about putting it back in. Nulldrifter, let's see. Yeah, I mean, there was no point during that game where we were even close to casting Nulldrifter. I just don't think it's a good card right here. I think it's better to have a Daze in. Everything else looks good. I think Daisy is better than Brazen Borrower. Brazen Borrower would have been terrible there. Like, okay, we get rid of a counter, like one of those constructs. They'll just sack it, and then that'll fizzle our ability to cast Brazen Borrower out of exile, so it won't go on an adventure. Yeah, I think this is probably the configuration. These prismatic endings are pretty bad if they don't exactly have Chalice. I'm gonna be a little more risky here because we're dying with a lot of cards in our hand, and that's not good vibes. Yeah, we don't have a lot to win the game with, but Harbinger will potentially carry us. They do have a waste in their deck. We saw, I think. I can't remember if they had a basic force, but I'm assuming they have a basic force. They seem to be like the pure green build. This doesn't do it. This does it. All right, so Consign to Memory does stop the Phyrexian Dreadnought trigger. I think we open Island Tamiyo, and then we attempt to do the Phyrexian Dreadnought thing. So cards we're putting back. I think we put back Wasteland. We just need to be aggressive here. Wasteland could screw. The other alternative, of course, we just put back Tamiyo. And we don't. Tamiyo is not going to matter if we do a consigned path, but if Tamiyo is a blue card for force. So that's really what it's. The choices are either Tamiyo or we can put back the Wasteland just so we have access to our colors because we are going to want to open Island. Or we could put back the Tundra and we could open Island. No, it doesn't make sense to. Well, we could put back the Tundra and we could Delta for Tundra. That's the same as just keeping Tundra. I'm really worried, though, that they do have a Wasteland. And if we just put our Tundra into play, they're just going to waste us. Tamiyo reduces the likelihood of that by attacking. I'm sorry, it's taking me so long to figure out what I should do here. I feel like this mulligan is everything, though. They do have lots of ways of removing Phyrexian Dreadnought. We do want to draw a white source. Or we do want to draw... Okay. If I put this back, then I don't need the Tundra anymore. But it is nice to have a backup land. This feels so wrong. Yeah, I'm doing it. I talked myself into it. Now we have a second land, even if they somehow disrupt our mana sources. So I think I'm gonna go get Island Tamiyo here. Basically, my philosophy on this is like, you need to be aggressive. You need to out aggro them. Currently, we have a hand that does that. Eye of Ugin revealed. Eye doesn't do things on its own generally. They need to play that as their second land. Okay, it that heralds the end. Pedal. Okay. So yeah, it's going to be Glaring Fleshraker, unfortunately. Yep. I cannot stop that. Okay, and they have Eye coming. It's terrifying. Because, like, they're going to do so much damage to us. Yeah, that wasn't a good draw. Okay. They may not have K Command. I think I need to bank on them not having K Command. If they have K Command, they can exile our creature. They'll have plenty of mana to do so. They are going to be burning us like crazy because they're going to be basically churning through their deck. One option, of course, is just to waste and wait. I don't think it gets better, though. They've got 5 cards in hand. So the worst thing that could happen would be they untap, they play a second Glaring Fleshbreaker for 1 mana, and then they can really combo you. They can burn you for like 16 or something in one turn. Okay. Yeah, I think the game comes down to this. Do they have K Command? If they do, then our Dreadnought's dead. If they don't, then our Dreadnought might survive. I'm going to go ahead and take a damage here just to reduce the ability for them to interact with their mana, because we're going to need, we might need those to crack the clues later. I'm going to Dreadnought. I'm going to counter the trigger. All right, let's see if they can handle that. I think it's quite likely they can. And basically, if they are able to remove this Dreadnought, we don't really have much of a plan B. We're going to be dead way before our plan B can kick in. Okay, Cavern. It's interesting they're playing Cavern instead of playing their other card. They could bounce with this, though. They can tap for colored mana. If they exile our lands, I don't really actually care about that. I think they're creating the... oh, yep. That will do it. That will do it. This can exile target artifact. So they just exile it. It doesn't even bounce. And we're like super duper dead. Yep. This card kind of breaks the color pie a little bit. Like the fact that it's uncounterable is really frustrating for me. Yeah, we're super duper dead. We can play this out though. I don't want to be all doom and gloom. I don't need to think like, oh, it'll be excellent. The whiny channel. But like, what are we supposed to do here? I think we kept a responsible aggro hand. If we hadn't put back the plow, we didn't know we were going to draw a land. But not putting back plow might have been a good play there. Yeah, I think I'm willing to entertain that not putting back plow could have saved us here. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to ponder first. So we do have plow to take care of this. I think that's actually pretty important. If we plow now, we can't use her ability, which will be very good against the current state of the board. Because we'll be able to flip her, get a card. These other cards aren't good. Yeah, I'm going to shuffle. That's a terrible card. I am going to go ahead and play this out now. I'm going to attack, get my token, and then I am going to flip her. And I'm totally aware that like they could have some sequence of creatures that kills her. But I want to get a land, or I want to get a card anyway, so we can potentially draw toward our combo. That's not going to help us. It feels like I'm drawing so many lands, even though I'm playing like I'm only playing 19 lands. Okay. So they can attack her for 2 loyalty currently. They may be able to attack her for more, but that is time they're spending attacking her and not attacking me. Okay, I have 4 cards in hand. I definitely sense like a bunch of burn coming our way. I do have double wasteland, so I can do a lot to their mana base. If I draw the Merfolk, that's really good. But every spell they cast, they are getting like colorless, creating. Oh, this is the red mana. Oh, Thoughtnaught's here. Yeah, that's fine. Have a gander. It doesn't have haste, so when we remove it from play, we will get a card for it. All right, we're gonna take a damage from the Glaring Fleshbreaker. We'll see whether they attack us or whether they attack Tamiyo. I think it'd probably be reckless to ignore Tamiyo because she's going to be debuffing their squad every turn. All right. They are attacking her. So she's dead next turn. But she can debuff one more time and distract them again. All right. It looks like oops all wastelands. I think I already said oops all something earlier, so that's not a very original thing to say, is it? All right, and I'm just going to go after the mana. I definitely could have cracked the clue first before I did that. Maybe that was a mistake. Yeah, there's no reason to do that now. I can do it later. They don't have anything in their deck that punishes draws. Yeah, I think that was probably a mistake to just so quickly snap those off. But I did need to waste some of their mana out of play. They do have the Eldrazi spawn. They can create more. I might even need to wasteland again next turn, depending what this clue produces, what the top of our deck produces. Red mana is scary. This is another thought here. Okay, well, I'm glad I didn't crack the clue then. Yeah, we're super dead. I'm trying to think of what we can draw here. I mean, if we draw, dress down into Phyrexian Dreadnought, that could work. But I think we're probably dead anyway. Let's see if they just attack me directly or if they attack her. They can't split the attack between the two of us if they want to kill her. Well, they could hit us for one, I guess. So she's probably dead, I presume. And we take one. Yeah, they split the attack. All right, so I'm going to draw. Plow's good. Another land. Okay, so I have to play out this Tundra if I want to be able to do anything here. So I'm not going to be able to wasteland. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and plow one of these, and I get a card. And then a Tamiyo. I can play it out. It can block those two. It's not good. We're still taking 4 or 6. So we're still dead, but we'll die slower. And keep in mind, they can still burn us with Glaring Fleshraker. They are getting a new card every turn, which represents... Yeah, that's fine. I may not have mana to go get a second white source, or may not have life to go get a second white source here. Right? So we are going to block. We'll take 6, drop to 3. Dress down could lead to Phyrexian Dreadnought. We go for it. Good games. Yep. I feel like I'm drawing more lands than I should be. I hope that doesn't sound whiny. But I don't think we played particularly badly, other than maybe putting the plowback was the mistake. In these aggro mirrors, and our deck is almost kind of like an aggro deck. It's a control deck, but it's also kind of an aggro deck. Mulligan decisions are really important. So currently we are 1-3, which is not a good deal. I'm going to try to win this one though. My thoughts so far, it does feel a lot less threat dense than the black-blue version. All right. Curtis Dittmar. Okay. Likely Omnitel. When I say likely, definitely Omnitel. Granted, this was like from a long time ago. This was from like several months ago. This isn't the combo, but this is good against Omnitel, I think, because the sheer volume of cantrips, dress down, can potentially stop. Oh, wow. They said, keep up the good work on your YouTube channel. Okay, so I'm going to keep this. This does have cantrip into Doorkeeper Thrull next turn. So I'm going to keep my mana untapped just in case I get a Stifle in here. They are likely playing... Well, let's take a look at what they were playing previously. 2 Emrakul? Only 2 Emrakul? I guess that's all they need when they have Omniscience. But Shimmer of Possibility, I've never seen this card. Look at the top 4. I'm pretty sure like there's a new Modern Horizons card that's better than this. Wait, is it just mono blue? Just mono blue. Okay, we'll see if they're on something like that. Well, I'm going to go ahead and stifle this. This is the only tempo I have, likely, if they are on mono blue, because I'm not going to be wastelanding them. All right, and I'm getting the spinner. Shall we check fast.com to see whether we have an internet connection? We do. This is just MTGO spinning for some reason. All right, so we'll get a... I mean, it's possible that they have... Yeah, I'll get the island first, and then I'm just going to stifle this. The great thing about having Doorkeeper Thrull and Dress Down already in hand is we can actually use stifles offensively instead of as a combo enabler. All right, and then next turn we could Doorkeeper Thrull and potentially do the thing. I think it's worth pondering now. And we can decide whether we want to keep the cards off ponder. I don't want any of these. I don't think we need a third land. Tamiyo is good. Actually, they have literally no permanents in play. I'm going to go ahead and take Tamiyo, and then I'll just cast her. Let's go ahead and get a Tundra here. And we can't defend her, but if they're playing mono blue, they're not going to have removal for her anyway. All right. And what we're going to do is over the next few turns, while they're trying to establish their mana base, because they do play soul lanes. They play, 4 of these. But we should have a window through which we can get a few counters going up. Let's take a look. Drawn from Dreams. I do recognize that. Seagate Restore. I wouldn't be surprised that their list is very different from this. Okay, that's fine. I would be willing to bet they're on mono blue, though, based on Prismatic Vista being one of their fetches. That's fine. All right. Got our land. I think I'm going to go ahead and start by attacking. I don't think I reveal that I have a fetch, because that'll make them even more likely to counter this. All right. So this is going back for sure. This can go back. So we found a replacement brainstorm, which is great. We do need to find counter magic at some point, though. All right, so we're going to plus her. I'm going to play a Delta, which we're definitely going to use to fetch away. I don't think they're playing Stifle, but it would be such a beating if they could like stifle this and leave those 2 cards on top that I think I am going to go ahead and fetch now. Yeah, actually, I don't think it's likely they're playing Stifle. Preordained just doesn't feel like a tempo card that they'd be playing, although I have played it in some of my tempo decks. Okay, it's fine. I doubt they're playing Daze, so I think we can incept Doorkeeper Thrull. Doorkeeper Thrull does not stop the Emrakul cast trigger if they cast it off of Omniscience. We'll see if they have another mana color here. Like they might have white, they might have green. They do have green. All right, so the question is, do I want to get Doorkeeper Thrull in, or do I want to... Doorkeeper Thrull immediately gives away what we're doing. Or do I want to draw off the clue? I think it's better to get the Doorkeeper Thrull in, because we do have Brainstorm next turn. And we can always draw when we need to. I'm going to play Doorkeeper Thrull here. All right, let's draw. I would love to find a force. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and brainstorm here, because the upside of finding like a Nulldrifter is very high. Okay, Daze is good. I definitely want to keep that. I don't need all these dress downs anymore. I don't actually have a way to shuffle them away. I think I'm going to go to combat. A very weak little tap here. I'm going to plus. One reason to keep dress down. Yeah, actually, I don't know that they're going to necessarily have any reason for us to keep dress down around. I'm just going to hold up the brainstorms so we can desperately look for something if we need to. Brainstorm's fine. Any mana they're putting into cantrips is a big relief for me, because I'm about to Tamiyo Ultimate. After Tamiyo Ultimating, I'll have probably 2 to 3 Force of Wills in hand. I'll have a lot of Dazes, and I should be able to just immediately put some power out and end the game. I don't know anything in blue-green color combination that could stop Tamiyo from ultimating. Yep, another cantrip. All right, I think end step I'm just going to crack a clue and draw a card. Draw through some of these bad cards. I don't think we need to worry about them doing anything instant speed end step. All right. When I say bad cards, I mean they don't do anything in this particular situation. If we brainstorm here, there is a chance that we can... I think it's quite likely they have Veil, so we're probably going to need multiple points of interaction here. I want to find a fetch, though, so I can fetch some of these dress downs away, because they're basically just pitched to force. All right, we found it. We didn't find... I will put these 2 back. Play this out. I think I could go ahead and fetch an island, and I could ponder here, since we won't have access to this next turn. Nulldrifter is pretty good, but we're about the ultimate. I really just want counter magic. Okay, this is bad. We can brainstorm it back, though. I'll just attack for 1 and I'll pass. Actually, I think it might be better to keep Doorkeeper Thrull up just in case they have some like crazy hasty creature that I haven't thought of than doing 1 damage. I don't think doing 1 damage is going to matter. If they have City, I'll be very scared. Okay, they're preordaining. So that's a great sign because the more mana they use up, like each of these dazes becomes like a little more alive with the mana they're using up. Ancient Tomb. Okay, so I'm going to start by dazing. Yeah, they don't have Flusterstorm mana available. I don't want to Brainstorm right now if I can avoid it. This will force them to have to either Veil or just... Okay, so they have their own force. I am worried that... I think it's correct to just Brainstorm on top of this. They don't have blue mana available. Now they're going to Veil, and I'm going to Daze. I'm going to Daze their Show and Tell now, where they don't have mana to pay for it. I think that's correct. Okay, and now it doesn't matter that they Veiled, because the danger spells. Yeah, so that worked out really well for me, that sequencing with the Daze. They may scoop. Yeah, that was just perfect. I didn't really think about it. Like, it just worked out that way, but I'm sure that, like, that would be something that a really good player would intentionally walk an opponent into Veiling where they did. All right, so we get our Brainstorm here. Wow, we found the force anyway. That's great. I'll put these back. These don't matter. We're going to draw half our deck. We're going to win. Yeah, I don't see them coming back from this. Gosh, wow. Double days for the win. That felt great. Okay, cool. And they don't make me play it out, which is nice. I mean, I presume they figure I'm on Dreadnought. I play a lot of Dreadnought on the channel just because I like it. It's really good. Force and Negation coming in. Lavinia definitely coming in. I don't know that there's anything else to bring in. Consigned Memory doesn't really matter. Let's see. They're not like one ringing it or anything. They do have Defense Grid. Graph Trigger's Cage doesn't matter, but Defense Grid can do some damage here. What does this do? I have to turn my head sideways to read it. Switch the power and talk to... Okay, that's not going to do it, but invent, search your library for an instant card and reveal it. Okay. Sublime Epiphany. This is something that will only matter very late in the game. Thwart is a good card to note. It's a basically Force of Will number 5. Mystical Teachings. Haven't seen this in a while. I'm not sure that they're even playing this deck. Drawn for Dreams is a good card, but it's like a fixed dig through time. Okay, so I don't think we're going to need Plow at all. So that immediately gives us some free real estate. I think what we bring in now is we do bring in the consigns, and maybe we bring them all in. There might be some other cards that we can cut here. I don't want to cut Nulldrifter. I think it is good. Yeah, I think Consign is better than Prismatic Ending. Just the only reason we'd bring in Prismatic Ending is to deal... Well, actually, I think Prismatic Ending is good because they're green now. So there's a good chance that they're going to have Carpet of Flowers, and we don't want that. I feel like of the cards that we have here, Doorkeeper Thrull is probably the weakest just because it doesn't pitch to force, and we need everything to pitch to force. Yeah, I like this configuration. I would like to bring in the Consigned to Memories, but we just can't fit anymore. Stifle is definitely better than Consigned to Memory because they are playing fetch lands. Consigned to Memory is only better than Stifle in matches like Eldrazi where they're not playing fetch lands. Okay, this is extremely passive, but it does have a force in the days. I'm going to keep it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to hope they have a slow start and we can develop. If they early tomb, we will most definitely waste it just to restrict their mana. They open Island Ponder. Okay, so I'm going to archive here. And I'm going to hope that they're going to critical turn 3S. I doubt they're playing Days of their own. So the risk of us having to bounce Meticulous Archive back to our hand is relatively low. So let's do this. That is better than a lot of the cards. It's a blue card for force. We can stifle a trigger. I think it's okay. I'm going to keep it. I am worried with all these lands in my hand, though. Maybe we should have aggressively put that or been that stifle trying to dig to a win condition. They could be digging for a land. Let's take a look at their... They didn't shuffle, so I don't think there's any reason to daze here. They could be filling out whether I have a daze, but I'm not going to daze Meticulous Archive back to my hand. It's like time walking yourself, and I want to have Consign to Memory up and Stifle up next turn. Best thing they could do would be put a non-basic in that I can waste. Because I'd love to waste and Stifle next turn. All right, the good news is we're going to have Consign up for the turn that they can potentially cast a defense grid. So that'll feel good. I think we just island here and hold the Stifle for later. Or, I'm sorry, hold the fetch for later when we can potentially brainstorm something away. They are pondering. All right, I'm going to stifle the heck out of this. Let's see if they care to defend it. They fluster. So that's a lot of copies. We can't do anything to stop it, unfortunately. Oh, we could have freaking stopped the storm trigger. I don't think that's worth the card, though. It was countered. All right. And they are going to be able to go get their green source, probably. I imagine they're going to get a green source here. Being able to play on basics is really strong, though. So we're drawing wild here. That's a really good card. I'm going to go ahead and brainstorm now because I want to shuffle this stuff away and see if I can set up like God, terrible. Okay, so we're going to put back this and this. Yeah, I think we just wait. I mean, we definitely don't want those lands, but I don't think they're likely to stifle us. Yeah, they're just getting so many lands in our 19 land deck. But part of it is, did I keep a 4-lander? I think I kept a 4-lander. Whenever you keep a 4-lander, you feel like you keep hitting with so many lands, even though you're not necessarily getting more than you would normally get. Like I'm maybe one standard deviation away from expected here in terms of the volume of lands. All right, and we do have a wasteland for that, which I am going to most definitely use. I'm going to go ahead and fetch now. Let's just get the... I mean, they could have back to basics or something. I'll get a basic white source. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to waste them. I'm just chilling. I don't want to brainstorm here because I need to like have stuff that I can do. Okay, so they're going to be able to use this mana. Cunning Wish. We counter the target. We don't counter the actual wish. Hopefully it's... Okay, Impulse. Yeah, that's totally fine. I think I'm just going to daze this. No. I'm going to go ahead and daze with this. Because, I mean, this denies them selection that they obviously used the Cunning Wish. They wanted the selection badly enough. And it's because they don't... Yeah, okay, cool. So next turn we can get selection off Meticulous Archive. I don't think mana is the constraint here. They may be flooded as well. Show and tell. Okay, so if we force and they veil, then we can brainstorm. I like doing that rather than keeping Consign. Because I think we're just dead if this resolves. I do suspect they have veil though, based on the way they tapped. Well, if we rip days, we don't have double days for this. I am gonna go ahead and no, I'm going to try to do this and maybe they don't have the backup. If they don't have the backup, then, okay, they just didn't have it. So now we can still use Brainstorm to get a perfect Brainstorm rather than a bad Brainstorm. Also note that, oh gosh, we're just drawing so many lands. All right, I'm going to Brainstorm here. We're going to put back 2 lands for sure. Okay, good. We got good stuff. So I'm just going to put back these lands. That... And actually, yeah, I think I'll put this Tundra, this island. Oh, I should have put back Meticulous Archive so I could fetch it here. That was bad. Okay. So now that we have a prismatic ending in case they defense grid or carpet, both of which would be really strong here. They just have another one. Well, this is probably what they're saving the veil for if they have it. Like, oh, there's veil next turn. Oh, wow. Whoa. Okay. So they might have like a Mystic Sanctuary to get their card back. I'll get an island here. I don't need the colored mana. So Tamiyo's coming down for sure. I do think we surveil here, even though we're telling them that we don't have. Yeah, that's going to the eternal struggle against your own mana base. Just convulsing and like, yeah, it's crazy how many lands we're getting. Like we've used so much selection just to put these lands away. I've been shuffling on all these ponders and brainstorms too. Okay, don't be a land. All right, this is a really good creature. So I'm going to go ahead, like if they have heaven forbid they have some way to remove this, I want them to do it on this because Lavinia is going to be really strong. She actually doesn't stop a lot of stuff. So like she won't stop force, for example. I'm getting fancy with my tapping. White, blue, Lavinia. And then we have the ability to crack a clue, but all it's going to be good for is like a daze. And I don't think they're going to tap out to the extent that daze is going to matter here. They've got 2 more show and tells in their deck that they're drawing to. Generally, these decks do not play any removal. In blue and green, they might have a bounce effect. Like a Echoing Truth is one that's frequently in the sideboards of these decks. This is Carpet. That is a Carpet, and we cannot remove it immediately. We can remove it next turn. They have 6 mana. Okay, good. Oh, no. They're just passing to their next mana. Now they're going to use it. Okay. I got really excited like they were not going to use it. But of course they're going to use it. Oh, they're not going to use it? Holy cow. That's great for me. All right, let's draw. All right, that's another land. It is incredibly improbable that we draw yet another land, but we might be cursed with another land. Turn 8, and I think I've shuffled back like 4 or 5 land at this point. But those lands are still rattling around in our 40-card deck, so it's not completely unreasonable that we could be drawing them. Our opponent seems to wait a long time in our upkeep. If you're watching this, Curtis, just be sure like to turn off the upkeep. Like stop if you don't plan to do things on upkeep, because then it's easy to forget. Like after you pass your turn, like I have to pass priority during the upkeep again too. That's one thing when I was new to MTGO. I'm not saying you're new to MTGO. You've been playing quite a bit, but just a little bit of unsolicited advice. This person, Curtis is a male name, has been playing way longer than I have. Okay. I'm going to test to make sure my internet didn't go out again. Yeah. Okay. We did get a land. All right. So first things first, I'm going to attack with everything. All right. Now, I can't think of a reason why I wouldn't. They could have like another, whatever it's called. I do think this is worth casting here. I'm thinking Flusterstorm. Like I don't want to okay. Yeah. So now I think we pass. Next turn we can actually flip her, which is probably actually worse than just drawing an extra card every turn. Yeah, I don't think we want to flip her during our turn. But I'm going to go ahead and just keep that up. And yeah, I didn't play a land there. I really do. I probably should have played the Scalding Tarn, because if they're playing Flusterstorm, lands can matter. Okay. So I will play out the Scalding Tarn here unless we draw a Brainstorm. Prediction Dreadnought is a win con. Nulldrifter is quite good here, especially the possibility of us Nulldriftering. Also, Nulldrifter does necessarily flip Tamiyo, so I do need to play out Nulldrifter. Or I do need to attack before I attempt to cast Nulldrifter. All right, we got our clue. Now, I mean, we're only one mana away from hard casting Nulldrifter, but if we find a Stifle or a Consign, we can keep her in play. Like this, Nulldrifter. They can force even with her out. They just have to pitch, or they have to pay. Okay, and unfortunately, oh wait, Dress Down does actually work. I think there's a good chance that they counter this. That's our last land, by the way. That was lucky that I didn't completely run out of land. Okay, so this is already on the stack, so it's not going to counter that ability. We get another card. All right. So now Nulldrifter gets to stay. We're going to plus this. We can't play any lands. Yeah, we're going to see if we're dead. We did put our shields down there. It's worth noting that Lavinia does stop Omniscience. So if they do have like free cards that are going to be casting off Omniscience, those are going to get countered. Emrakul cannot be countered though. So if they Omniscience, yeah, we did it. All right, those were, I'm not going to say like super fun games because it's just kind of nerve wracking every turn. Oh, do they have it? No, they don't have it. I can just keep doing what I'm doing because there's very little interaction from their side of the table. It's basically just us trying to amass enough counter magic, which we didn't have. So after countering 2 of those, we were naked to them being able to kill us. But overall, the list felt really powerful. Let's talk about the specific matches we played here. So I'll do my little wrap up. So first, we did quite well. I mean, I think this deck is extremely well positioned against combo decks because it plays 4 Force of Will, 4 Days, 4 Stifle, which stops, spell-based combo. It doesn't necessarily stop. Well, I mean, Show and Tell is kind of like hybrid spell permanent combo. Where did we lose really badly? We lost against. I'm gonna try to fire up one of these games just so I can try to remember. It's such a league. I played this all in one sitting too. Yeah. So this is okay. Was this also an Eldrazi match? No, wait. This was like Eldrazi. So we played Eldrazi twice. We lost to Eldrazi. We lost to lands, and we beat. Yeah, that game we lost against lands was particularly painful because I do feel like we're so favored against lands. Okay, let's take one more look at the list real quick before I sign off. So, is this better than Blue-Black Stiflenought? It certainly feels more powerful and more explosive because you're more likely able to execute your plan. Nulldrifter is a good card. It's just a very expensive card, and we drew it. The times that we cast Nulldrifter, we drew it in the spots where we really wanted it. This deck does play, brainstorms to put it back if we draw too early. Against Eldrazi, against lands, we, even with our heavy basic mana base, we were kind of cramped on mana a lot. They were just able to, like, Eldrazi's just able to explode. I mean, there was a turn where they basically cast 2. There was one turn where one of our Eldrazi opponents cast 2 Glaring Flash Strikers, and they were still able to do stuff. And we countered one of them, but we couldn't counter them both. If we hadn't countered that first one, we would have died that turn probably, by the way. Because once you get 2 Glaring Flash Strikers on the table, they're just going to burn you out. Every spell they cast is going to create 2 mana dorks that you can sack, and it's going to burn you for 2. And it just very quickly burns you to death. And when I say burn, I mean like direct damage, like lightning bolt type effects. Okay, so where this deck is weakest, I think, is probably against, I don't know. I mean, in theory, this deck shouldn't have any weaknesses, is my thinking. I think this is one of the most weaknessless builds in Legacy right now because you have basic lands. You have extremely inexpensive, powerful things you can do, right? I think it's definitely the weakest in blue-white mirrors because they're likely to have plows. They're likely to have prismatic ending, which is really dangerous against this. Unlike some decks I played, it's not clear what you would put in if you took out the Dreadnought. I'm having trouble imagining a scenario where you would actually take these Dreadnoughts out because they are so instrumental to you actually being able to win. You don't have Psychic Frog that you can win with, right? Like the blue-black version, you can take the Dreadnoughts out and you can replace them with Bowmasters and you're good. And I think that's really the strength of the blue-black version is that ability to pivot from being a Dreadnought deck to being just a standard blue-black tempo deck that's also running a few dress downs and a few more stifles than it would normally run. But I think that's probably the biggest weakness is just like if you go up against blue-white miracles, that's got to be like extremely unlikely for you to win with this deck because you're so in on Dreadnought. You're so in on keeping a Doorkeeper Thrull around to resolve Nulldrifter. If they just plow your Doorkeeper Thrull, well, this is on the stack or this is on the stack, and that's you just lost it, right? Like here, at least you get 2 cards for your trouble. I think against blue-black Reanimator, this is still going to be rough because let's say you can't really evoke this because then it's just chilling in your graveyard, and this is a great reanimation target for them if they don't have any. It's also a big liability if they Thoughtseize you turn 1 and take this out of your hand, right? And then they reanimate it. So I think the one change I would make would be to put in, just for like for example, the Omnitel match, which I think was the only blue match that we went up against. We might have gone up against another one. I won one of the games. I can't remember what I beat. But I do think having Hullbreacher in is really good against Brainstorm decks. I think Hullbreacher is a lot of mana, but these games do tend to go long because you're trying to assemble your combo, or you're just kind of like dazing and stifling their stuff and gradually stockpiling land so you can cast a Nulldrifter, or so you can potentially Dreadnought and Stifle and have Daze protection on one turn. So this is like a kind of an aggro deck, but it's like a super slow aggro deck. But at the same time, it can effectively win turn 2 by, your opponent is on like a burn deck, or like we have a burn in our local that'll likely face tonight, and I'm very much looking forward to just stifling a Phyrexian Dreadnought and attacking them. But against other aggro like Eldrazi, like Initiative, I think that this is really well positioned. And in fact, I think there's a video of me just slamming this into play against an Initiative player and just winning and then immediately conceding. It was very gratifying to do that, having lost to Initiative so much as a control player. But I'm going to experiment with this. Let me know in the comments whether you like the white version or the black version better. Again, the big difference: black has Bowmasters, it has Psychic Frog. White has Doorkeeper Thrull and slightly better removal, and Lavinia, which is a really powerful kind of anti-combo card. And these prismatic endings are no pushover either, but they are a little weaker when you're only playing 2 colors. So until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.